of Elul, corresponding to the 16th day of September. I'm going to skip all the usual introductions of the live video feed as well as the audio for the iTorah.com platform for a bit later, time allowing. But I'd like to take the opportunity in the name of the Kahal Kadosh in the audience here, as well as the virtual audience, to welcome the Rosh Yeshiva from the Bet Midrash Gavoha from Lakewood, New Jersey, Hacham Malkiel Kotler, which obviously is known throughout the world as one of the greatest Hachamim of our generation, and we are fortunate enough to have him with us today at the Edmond J. Safra Synagogue. Many of you were here last night to listen to very deep and yet meaningful and uplifting words of Torah. The Rabbi is flying back to Lakewood, New Jersey, literally in a few minutes, but he asked the great Rabbi to share with the Kahal Kadosh a short thought on the beautiful month of Elul, the upcoming season of the holidays, and Be'ezat Hashem, then time allowing, we continue with our regular class. The Lakewood Yeshiva, Baruch Hashem, is a factory of Talmidei Hachamim. Not from today, already going on for many years. Some of the statistics I share with the Kahal Kadosh, today there are over 7,000 young rabbinical students, 17 Batei Midrashot. Can you imagine 17 Midrashim on Torah learning? In the past few years, they send over 400 families worldwide to establish kolelim, whatever is required. The Lakewood Yeshiva has been very instrumental in assisting and opening up 80 kolelim worldwide, plus establishing close relationship with over 120 communities all over the world. And it's a very common tradition now, especially in South America and in the United States, that members of the Kahal, especially of the Syrian Sephardi community, they take a trip to Lakewood for a few days, for a week, to get inspired. Now there is a group from Panama. Next week is coming a group from Mexico. And Be'ezat Hashem, we're trying to do something for us, not in the winter. Not in the winter. The winter we stay here, right? Okay, in the winter we stay. But after Pesach, after Shavuot, we'll take maybe 2-3 day trip. I'll coordinate it with the proper Hachamim that handle this type of program. And I think that Ladame Tahazeh Letashema. I only throw you numbers, statistics, but once you see it with your own eyes, you're going to come back a different person. So Be'ezat Hashem, we bless the Rabbi and all of the other Hachamim and the complete team effort that they have in Lakewood, New Jersey, to be spreading the Torah all over. Yelechu me'chayil el chayil, may you go from strength to strength, and Be'ezat Hashem, the increased Torah learning definitely will expedite and hasten Mashiach's arrival. B'mirav yamenu, amen. So at this time, I'm going to do something that I usually don't do at this hour of the day. I'm going to listen. Now I'm going to listen. I usually talk, but now I'm going to listen, and please digest every word. Every word is a diamond by itself. I'd like to give the microphone to the Rabbi. Bechavod, you can hold it like this. And I put the second one here. Bechavod.
B'shut Chacham Galimidi and all the very chashuv listeners. I understand that this shiur is a shiur on Sefer Talmud Dvorah, Talmud Dvorah. I mean, as we know, we have b'masoret from the Sabav Slobodka, the Rabbi of Rabbi Kotler, that he used to say that the Sefer Talmud Dvorah is a shulchan aruch on midot tavot. That's where we learn midot tavot. It's very interesting that Chacham mentioned that some divrei chizuk for Elul. We find in the Sefer Mishnat Rabbi Aaron, he explains the 40 days of Elul till Yom Kippurim is makbil, works together with the 40 days of Yitzirah. That means we create ourselves anew. We create ourselves new people. Yitzirah. But what does it mean? We're not new people. What does it mean we create ourselves anew? The Sefer Talmud Dvorah, the beginning of the Sefer, he explains that a person is created as a Tzelem Elokim. Tzelem Elokim, a person is created in the image of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's very hard to understand. Ein lo dmut haguf, ein lo guf. What does it mean that we are created in the image of Hashem? Simply it means that a person is created in a way that he can emulate the drachim of Hashem. Hashem created him in with such a tzura that he can emulate the midot of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is the Sefer Torah Mitzvah, which is the Sefer of the midot of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we have to learn to take to ourselves. And the Torah, the Sefer, in the beginning of the Akdama of the Sefer, explains that the Iker Tzelem, the main part of the Tzelem, is Pu'ula Tav Shel Adam. He's created an image, a bodily image, that could do those Pu'ulot. But his main image is his Pu'ulot. And that's what we have to recreate in the days of Elul and Yomim Nara'im. Create our Tzelem, recreate our Tzelem, recreate our image to go in the ways of Hashem. And the Rebbe Shalom gave us the opportunity, 40 days of Anile Dodi V'Dodi Li. Elul is Rashi Tavot, Anile Dodi V'Dodi Li. It's also Sofei Tavot, Ani Yud, 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 Yud. 4 times Yud is Mispar Arba'im. That's from Rosh Chodesh Elul till Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, when we can recreate ourselves to go in the ways of Hashem and to go into the drachim of Hashem. And of course, that connects us with Hashem. Chazal tell us, Hadbeg b'midotav, that's a way of being davuk b'Hashem. That's what brings us the baracha. We're preparing for a new year, preparing for Hatzlacha of a new year. One of the main things the Gemara tells us, Kol ha'marachem al ha'briot, marachimim alav minei shamayim. If a person goes in the midot of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu acts especially with him, with those midot, and he gives us all the brachot. So that's the best preparation we can have for Elul, is to learn the Sefer Torah Mitzvah, to learn Torah generally, all the tefillot, the tachnunim, the slichot, by us we blow shofar. That's all prepares us to recreate our image, to walk in the image of Hashem, and to bring us to all the brachot, to bring us to the brachot of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We should be zochat to all the brachot, and we should be zochat to Hashnat Baracha v'Yeshua, Hashnat Hatzlacha. I'm very impressed to come here. It's a Monday morning. People are here. I don't know who's here from 5:30 in the morning, but it's already 9:45. People are still sitting and learning, spending hours in the Bet Knesset, Tefillot, Torah, Divrei Torah, which is an unbelievable hachana to the Yom Adin, and we should all be zeichet to Shnat Chaim V'Sholom, Shnat Hatzlacha, Shnat Bracha, and ultimately Shnat Gula V'Yeshua.
Amen. Thank you. We'd like to wish the Rabbi Nesiat Tova, Yachid Berabim, Alecha Kerabim, Lech LeShalom. The Rabbi should have a safe trip, and we wish him to have a Ketivah V'Chatima Tova, and Hashem to give him the kohot to continue spreading the beautiful messages of Torah, not only what the Bet Midrash Gavor represents, but the Rabbi in his Na'im Alichot, with his pleasant way and beautiful demeanor that inspires people just by looking at him. That was some of the comments I got last night. Rabbi, I couldn't really understand some of the things the Rabbi was talking, but just looking at him and listening with the pleasantness that he was talking, for me was Dayenu. Im Lazeh Bati, Dayenu. So obviously the message is loud and clear. Be'ezat Hashem, Yizkol Shanim Rabot. We're going to pause the class for 1 minute to wish the Rabbi well, and then we'll continue with our regular class. For those watching, stay there. Hacham, Nesiat Tova, Kol Tov, Asahar Rabba,
Shana Tova, Kol Tov, Kol Tov,
We'll give you Sulel HaDerech, maybe?
No, I don't.
You sure?
No, I don't need
Chaim, you're staying with us for breakfast? Beautiful.
Okay, Kol Tov, Hatzlacha Rabba. Kol Tov. Shalom, Kol
I don't
Tov.
want to even breathe the road.
Kol Tov.
Microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we need the microphone back. Hey, you want to stay longer, maybe? Thank you. Give it, yeah. I know the Rabbi is in a rush.
You have me on the payroll now. Told me that.
back, Rabotai. Obviously, we just experienced one of the greatest merits, be'emet, without exaggeration, of being able to welcome such a Chacham in our midst. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam shehakol nihiya v'tbaro. I was asked to perhaps expand in the short but powerful message that we just heard from the great Rosh Yeshiva. And I'm so happy that the Rabbi follow along what we have been learning for the past 2 weeks from the holy book, Sefer Tomer Devorah. And he quoted a great Talmid Chacham saying that the book Tomer Devorah is the code of Jewish law for personal improvement, self-improvement. Now, remember what we learned yesterday? In the first sentence of chapter 1 and first sentence of chapter 2, Rabbi Moshe Cordovero wrote something very similar. And he said, Ha'adam, a person, must emulate HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How long does it take for a person to change? 40 days. This is an agreement to all of the great Talmidei Hachamim. Where does the 40 days comes from? We know, for example, that in the customs agents law, there is something called quarantine. What's the meaning of quarantine? 40. They take something questionable, problematic. They said, we need to place it in quarantine. Now the question is, from all of the numbers of the world, the only number they were able to find was 40. Make it 26, 57, like Heinz ketchup. Okay, Baskin Robbins, 31. Somebody told me the other day, I don't need that, but I know, I heard of it. Whatever varieties they have. Why 40? What's so special about the number 40? So first, let's review where we find the number 40 in life. Let's start from the beginning. The Gemara writes, it takes 40 days for the creation of a fetus. The Gemara writes, from day 0 to day 40, parents are allowed to pray for the gender. Send me a boy, send me a girl. After the 40th day, pray for well-being, pray for health, and pray for happiness. That's one. Moshe Rabbeinu went up to Har Sinai. The Torah says, 40 yom, 40 layla, 40 days and 40 nights. For the Sephardic tradition, Selihot, 40 days. Moshe Rabbeinu goes up Rosh Chodesh Elul, or the day after, and comes down in the day of Yom Kippur. Again, 40 days. The Pelei Yoez says, a person who wants to change a deficiency in their character trait, in their behavior, the person should put an effort for 40 consecutive days. Because once we come to the number 40, now this new behavior becomes our natural way of being. Even though 40 days doesn't sound like a lot, but 40 days, it's a lot. 40 days, in and out. But not only that, we know that there are many acronyms, many Rashi Tevot, concerning the month of Elul. What's so special about this month? One verse says, Ani ledodi vedodi li. I am to my beloved, and my beloved is to me. Another pasuk, Ina leyado besamti lecha, uma lashem et levabecha be'et levav. These are all pesukim that the first letter of each word gives you the word Elul. Aleph, Lamed, Vav, Lamed. But the great rabbi said an unbelievable hidush. And it says, if we look, and I'm going to put it in writing so perhaps maybe easier to understand. The pasuk says in the book of Tehillim, Ani le dodi ve dodi li. So we always pay attention to the first letter, Aleph, Lamed, Vav, Lamed. Rashi Tevot, Elul. But the great rabbi just said, Yod, 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 Yod. What's the numerical value of the letter Yod? 10. And how many Yods I have here? 4 times 10, 40. This represents the 40 days, he says. From Rosh Chodesh Elul till Yom Kippurim, Borei Olam says, call me, I'll answer you. No voicemail. No voicemail. How many times we call and it goes to voicemail? The new one is the customer you have called has a voicemail system that has not been set up. They say something like that. I'm not sure if I sound like that, but I said it right. Chazaku Baruch. Okay? So can you imagine anytime you call, sometimes you call the airline, okay, you have 29 minutes more or more to wait until somebody calls you back. Right? How frustrated it gets. You want to take care of it. You don't want to be hanging the phone. Now they give you a new option. Put your number and we'll call you back. Right? You will not lose your number on the line. I'm human like you are, by the way. I call airlines. I call the bank. I pay bills. I deal with cleaners. I throw the garbage at home. You know, Baruch, I do that. Of course, of course. Upon request. No, I'm kidding. I know that helps at home. So I'm not allowed to cook in the house. Okay? So I stay away from the kitchen. But occasionally I'm allowed and welcome to come in. So let's continue. Let's continue. So the great rabbi said, Ani le dodi vedodi li. This is my opportunity to reignite my love with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. I like to say something that the great Rosh Yeshiva said to us today in the Netz Minyan. He spoke about a beautiful blessing, okay? A beautiful blessing on the Amidah. And it says, Teka b'shofar gadol lecherutenu. The beautiful blessing, we are asking a Kadosh Baruch Hu, Borei Olam, we will love to hear the sound of the great shofar. Besanes ekabez galuyotenu, and gather us, bekabetzenu yahad mehera, me'arba kamfot ha'ares le'arsenu. And you will gather us from the 4 corners of the world, and you will bring us to Eretz Israel. Comes the perashah. In Sefer Shemot, I believe perashah Itro. The pasuk says, "Ba'esa etchem al kanfei nesharim." I will carry you on the eagle's wings. Ba'avi etchem elai, and I will bring you to me. So the great rabbi asked the following question today: why does the Torah says in the perashah elai to me, and then in Amidah we say le'arsenu, to our land? So he explains that there are many different ways that a person can get to Eretz Israel. Why do we want to go to Eretz Israel? Because Eretz Israel is our homeland. But I don't see no one packing and leaving to Israel at the 12:30 flight with El Al. If you have to catch that flight, you're running late. Okay? So if you are here, it's because you're not going to Israel today. And the question is, how come? Shouldn't be run to go to Eretz Israel? So the great Rosh Yeshiva explains that before a person gets to Eretz Israel, the person needs to fulfill the pasuk in the parasha, Ba'avi etchem elai. He says that a person wants to go to Eretz Israel, connect with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Zohar writes that when we learn Torah together as a group, even though we are not in the synagogue now, no less Kedusha from Eretz Israel. That's what the Zohar HaKadosh says. The rabbi, for the record, was very, very impressed. I believe he mentioned something, but he mentioned something bigger earlier in both minyanim. He's so impressed, not only the beauty of the synagogue and everything else that goes on, Pashut, we did not have a room to speak with the rabbi alone. We went to every room, occupied, praying, learning, selihot, habrutot. The rabbi was very, very impressed. He never thought that coming to Aventura, he's going to be having difficulty in finding a room where to sit, to meet people. Baruch Hashem, we rearranged some of the things. And Baruch Hashem, we gave the great rabbi to meet with a lot of people that came to ask for a blessing and for an advice, which is definitely a great merit. And that's why the pasuk in the Amidah says, "Bekabesenu yahad mehera me'arba kamfot ha'ares be'arsenu." It says in the name of one of the Hasidic masters. It says the word ha'ares. What's the meaning of the word ha'ares in Hebrew? Ha'ares means your land. In it, it's called hearts. Hearts. What's the meaning in Yiddish? The word hearts. The heart of the person. The heart of the person. You want to get close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you will need to put the heart. Not only that, the word ha'ares, which was today's Torah portion, kitavo el ha'ares. Ha'ares, lashon, rason. The word ha'ares means retzinut, ratzon. It literally means the goodwill of the person. When a person puts the goodwill, the person is able to connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Regretfully, we all have a common enemy known as the Yetzer Hara. Someone approached the rabbi and asked him, "Rabbi, I'm experiencing lately negative thoughts in my mind, unhappy thoughts, unpleasant thoughts." For those who were here, we discussed this topic on Thursday. Remember? Or Friday? No, Thursday. The topic of the mind, which is one of the topics that we discuss connected to the face of the person. And remember what Tomer Devorah writes? That a person needs to protect their mind to have proper and pleasant and positive thoughts, because God forbid the opposite can have an effect on the person's well-being. So the rabbi gave this fellow 3 suggestions. Number 1, he asked him, "Do you learn Torah?" That's question number 1. He says, the Rambam, Maimonides writes that one of the most potent vitamins for the well-being of the person mentally and emotionally is learning Torah. Why? Short answer. Besides all the spiritual benefits that brings a person, but Torah, it's called Divrei Elokim Haim. It says, is the words of God that enhances goodness and life in the life of the person. The rabbi said to him, suggestion number 2, when it comes to the blessing of Atah Honen, the topic of wisdom, to pray to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that the negative thoughts should be gone. We understand that negative thoughts, God forbid, long-term negative thoughts takes a toll on the person at many levels. And the third suggestion that the great rabbi gave, it's the topic of saying Kiryat Shema before a person goes to sleep. Thank you so much. Thank you. So it says in the night when we say the Kriyat Shema, we say Ribono Shel Olam, Master of the Universe. Second paragraph, Baruch HaMapil, and towards the end of the second paragraph says, Be'al yabhiluni komot ra'im, and may bad dreams don't frighten me, ve'irhurim ra'im, and negative thoughts. So the rabbi said to this fellow, when you say Kriyat Shema, if you don't say Kriyat Shema, start saying it now. If you already say the Shema, but you never said the extra reading, say it, because in this extra reading, there is a prayer for negative thoughts that affects the person. Same thing with dreams. Same thing with nightmares. God forbid, that sometimes a person may experience in life. So the great rabbi said, say the Shema, and with the special paragraphs, because this paragraph, how simple they appear to be, but they carry the power of mental well-being, which definitely it's something mandatory to have. We have a question. Let me see if I'm able to understand the question here. The question is about what we said before concerning the blessing of Teka B'Shofar. So we know the paragraph of Teka B'Shofar, and the question is, let me see if I understand this. Why does it say Eres when it should say Kabetzenu min ha'olam? Why Aretz twice? I think that I understand the question. I hope I understand the question. Bekabesenu yahad mehera me'arba kanfot ha'ares le'arsenu. Gather us from the four corners of the world. No, it says Aretz, the earth. But the earth means the world. Okay? Now, what's the difference? Olam and Eres. Olam means world. Eres means earth. For the purpose of prayer, this means exactly the same. But there is a huge difference why sometimes we say the word ha'olam. For example, we say in the beracha, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech ha'olam. Olam, in a certain way, means world. But what is the root word of the word ha'olam? He'elem. He'elem. You know what it means? Hidden. You don't see God's revelation in the world. God's revelation in the world today, it's on a sample. How God reveals himself in the world? Through the nature. How do you say nature in Hebrew? Teva. Numerical value of the word Hateva is 86, which equals Hashem's name of judgment. So God speaks to us and reveals himself through the world, through nature. When Mashiach will come, then will be a whole different ball game. In what sense? Listen to the pasuk. Umalea haares de'a et Hashem kamayim layam mechasim. The pasuk writes that when Mashiach will come, be'ezat Hashem, any minute, you know, even now, I'm ready. I'm ready. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready? Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, you know, I tell you what it says. When you hear the sound of the shofar, that Mashiach came, you need to run to the synagogue. You must run to the synagogue. Don't go to the airport. Come to the synagogue. Why? First of all, you're going to have a lot of people at the airport. But I'm giving you a secret that the great rabbi mentioned last night. The Gemara writes that when Mashiach comes, all of the synagogues of the world will be lifted and will be transferred over to Eretz Israel, and they will become the perimeter wall of the Bet HaMikdash. That's what the Gemara says. Very clearly, Atidah, Batei Midrashot. All the Batei Midrashot, all the synagogues, all the yeshivot, all the kolelim, they're going to be lifted. Why? Because we are here temporary. We are here in a temporary visa. A Yehudi must know this. We are outside of Israel on a temporary permit. The moment that the time expired, suddenly we're going to pack and leave. Hopefully Mashiach will be here before that. And that's what it says. Me'arba kamfot ha'aretz le'arsenu. We are in Galut. And we're going to go back le'arsenu, to our holy land in Eretz Israel. That Be'ezat Hashem will have the zechut that very, very, very soon, before Rosh Hashanah. Because at the end of the day, the prayer of Tekah B'Shofar is connected to Rosh Hashanah. It's connected to Akedat Ishaq. Baruch Hashem, with increased Torah learning, Borei Olam definitely will send the Yeshua for all of Am Israel. B'mira v'yamenu. Amen. So at this moment, we'll finish the class. I know that was shorter than usual. I apologize for that. But obviously today we had extracurriculum activities all over the shul, with the rabbi speaking in every single minyan and meeting several dozen people upstairs. And now he's on the way to the airport. So I hope that everyone enjoy the presence of the great Talmid Hacham. Just be ready for next Sunday. Just to let you know, we're going to be welcoming Rabbi Meir Yedid from Sha'arei Sion congregation, which obviously everybody knows for years. And Be'ezat Hashem will be a beautiful, beautiful program for the Kehillah. More details will be forthcoming, but at this time we say have a great day. Shavua Tov Mevorach. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Rabbi Hananiah ben Hakashia Omer, רצה הקדוש ברוך הוא לזכות את ישראל לפיכך. הרבה להם תורה מצוות שנאמר, אדוני חפש למען צדקו, יגדיל תורה וידיר קדיש. אמין. Amen. Amen. Yeshemi Rabba mebarach le'alam l'me'al me'ya yitbarach. Amen. Amen. Yehilana. Amen. Prema ve'atzala lanu. Amen. Amen. Shavua Tov, Rabotai.